Okay, Nick and Andy, let's preview Nottingham Forest against Arsenal. Tricky away trip, I think we'd say, for league leaders Arsenal, though they've been flying along recently, Nick. But can they get back to winning ways in the Premier League after that? Draw against Liverpool kind of halted their momentum a little bit, but this seems on paper like 3 points for Arsenal. Move on.
Yep, preview over. Next video. No, I don't mean to make it sound that straightforward. I don't know that it will be that straightforward. The one thing you can count on with Forest and any Sean Dyche team is they're pretty much the same at home as they are away. You know what you're going to get. And I think sometimes that has been, if I want to talk myself into an upset, sometimes that has been the downfall for Arsenal. When they know what they're facing, they know it's going to be packed in tight against them. So, you know, that's the interesting part for me. Aside from Saka, and to some degree Declan Rice, and maybe Madueke as he becomes a feature there, I'm still waiting for the group of guys. When we talk about City, we talk about them adding Semenyo, being someone who takes the game to the other team, who wants to score that goal. Arsenal still feel like a team to me that are just as content to set up the goal as to score the goal. And I guess I just want to see a little bit more hunger from them, a little bit more selfishness. So Can I talk myself into this being a close game? Yes, I can. Do I think it's going to be a close game? No, I do not.
I mean, Andy, the Arsenal squad is just stacked, right? I mean, we saw in midweek, Gyökeres, even though he struggled to scoring impact in the game against Chelsea, the options they can have, Martinelli scoring a hat-trick in the Cup and Trossard chipping in, Saka, Madueke, Eze. I haven't seen much from him in recent weeks, but he's still there. Just so many players come back from injury. So I think it's interesting, especially up top, to see what Arteta does this weekend. If Gyökeres does start, if Jesus is fit enough to start and play 60, 70 minutes, and then Kai Havertz has come back into the mix as well. We've all kind of forgotten about him, but I guess it almost depends on situational, game by game, about different types of strikers there. But I think that's probably the X factor for Arsenal in this title push and push for trophies generally, that they have so many different types of players that are now fit up front that can give them something a bit different. And sometimes it seems like Gyökeres has just been a bit too predictable to play against so far this season, and there hasn't been anybody else in the rotation, but now there is.
Yeah, it sounds like we're all starting to come around on questioning Arsenal's credentials now. Like, it's been pretty smooth sailing so far this season, and yet City are within arm's reach of pulling right up to them. And we feel like if that happens, then it becomes about the intangibles, right? It's the belief and the, having been in the moment before, and will someone on Arsenal step up? And that's been the problem the last couple of years. And I'm still, not to sound like a broken record, but I'm still kind of in that same spot for all the points that both of you have just pointed out. Gyökeres, first goal from open play in 11 games, and it was really handed to him on a silver platter by Robert Sanchez. And I still have the same questions I did about him and from the summer. To Nick's point, against a team that's going to defend deep against them, what purpose does he serve? And it's just not much, because there's no hold up play, there's no combination with him. And I think when your center forward is so isolated like that, your wings can be as good as you want, and they are, obviously, but it still is going to come down to, I think, just about every game, can Gabriel or William Saliba bail him out on a set piece? And that has been the formula so far. And I don't know. Not to sound like a hater, and I try to keep this between us three in private in the WhatsApp group and not bring it here, but I just still don't fully buy into it, because it is so. Yeah. You know what a champion looks like, right? You know what a Premier League champion team looks like. And I just don't think they have that look about them. I'm not saying City do right now either, because they've been so inconsistent. That's the thing that Arsenal have had, is it's the steady consistency without looking spectacular, I think. And I think that what I want to see, not that it matters, but what I want to see from a champion is to look like that. And over the next 4 or 5 months, one of those two teams is going to do it.
Yeah, and this is an opportunity for them to make a statement here, because you mentioned it, Nick. Forest could make a game with it. I mean, we've seen that. What was it? The close defeat at home to Man City a few weeks ago, where they caused them problems on the counter from set pieces, a very Sean Dyche-like display. But Is he under a bit of pressure already? Because we know how sort of volatile it can be for managers there at Forest. And looking at the results, 1 win in the Premier League in their last 5. I mean, they kind of pulled away from the relegation scrap for a bit there, but right back in it, really. Obviously doing well in the Europa League, but getting knocked out in the FA Cup to Wrexham wasn't ideal for Dyche. And I feel like he's feeling the pressure a little bit, not like he's expecting to win here, but I feel like he could really do with a good, positive defensive display and scrapping a draw out of this one.
Yeah, I mean, you're right there. I almost wonder, again, 7 points clear of the bottom 3. You'd have to have some hints that Burnley or West Ham were going to go on a run to be really nervous about that. And so there's essentially, and oddly enough, given the Nuno quasi connection, there's a bit of a Spurs last year feel to this. Obviously not the same club in terms of reputation, but like, look, I think they've lost 1 game, maybe 2 in the Europa League. Everyone expects them to at least be in the playoff round, if not through. Given their quality and given some of the excuses they have in terms of how long Chris Wood has been unavailable, I guess I wouldn't. Marinakis seems like a guy who might say, yeah, but we still could win a trophy. And that might be enough for me. And as much as he is someone who is combustible, I also think there has to be at least enough self-awareness to say, if I fire another boss, if I'm not a laughing stock now, I'm a laughing stock then.
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't have that either,
True. But it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out in the next few weeks. But they've been there in a lot of games this season, and I think they have, individual quality. Gibbs White, Hutchinson's, Hudson-Odoi, so many great players there. So they have the ability to cause this, make this a tough game for Arsenal and cause them some problems, but I don't see it. I'm going to go 3-1 Arsenal on my prediction. I think this is just a game where Forest will maybe start strong, maybe get a goal from some situation, but then I think Arsenal's options off the bench, the way they've been able to just chop and change so many personnel, and it just still works in recent weeks in different competitions. I can't see anything other than Arsenal win. Andy, coming to you.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do. I'm a little curious. At what point does Arteta, and he's just recently back from a long-term injury, but when does Gabby Jesus get a consistent run in the team? Does Arteta feel like he needs to see someone else at the center forward position, I guess is the real question. Or is it just a very steadfast belief that Gyökeres eventually will come good in the moments that they need him to? I tend to think that Jesus has that special quality that they might need in there. And so for this game, though, I don't know, Milenkovic, Murillo, a couple of good, really big, strong defenders. Maybe they can deal with the set pieces and make it interesting. I like your point about starting quick, Joe. Forrest can get 1 or 2 chances early in the game on the counter, which is how they're going to try to play. Then I think they can maybe put a little fear into Arsenal and put them on the back foot just a little bit. But in the end, it's probably 2-0 to Arsenal. But it's one of those that you felt like they grinded it out a little bit, and somehow they come away with a 2-goal win.
Nick, you agree?
I'm going to say somehow come away with a 1-goal win. I'm going to say 2-1, but it's because, again, we don't know what Arteta's plan is. We've been very clear that his rotation is very anti-Maresca, if we want to put it that way. And they played pretty close to their best team against Chelsea, and they have Inter Milan next Tuesday. So at some point, they're going to be a little bit weaker, and I would imagine they would pick this game as opposed to Inter Milan. So for all those reasons, a 2-1 close win.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how he shuffles the pack, but he's been doing it really well recently, Arteta. So head over to Pro Soccer Talk on NBCSports.com to see how Arsenal get on against Forest. We'll have all the information for you, live analysis and reaction, video highlights, you name it. Let's see if Arsenal can stay on top of the table. They will for at least another week, but they can feel Man City and Aston Villa breathing down their neck.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host of NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. And for even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock.